Won't it be Ryan the Great? And today we are talking a very, very big move, guys. Davante Adams has been traded to the New York Jets, or you could just say the New Jersey Packers, whichever one you prefer. And I knew this was going to happen eventually. Obviously, there were rumors floating around with the Chiefs and the Saints and the Ravens and even the Cowboys and whatnot, but ultimately Davante Adams ends up where he was expected to go. That is being the New York Jets. And he's supposed to debut on Sunday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers, so we'll see if that does take place. This video was going to get out way sooner, but I had to go get a haircut right after I finished filming Top 5 NFL Teams, and then I started coughing up a lung, and I'm still coughing, so if I end up doing that, I feel like I have one coming right now. So yeah, if that happens in this video, I apologize, but let's just get right into it. But before we get right into it, guys, make sure you guys subscribe with your post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Lynn the Great blogs. Make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel at Ryan the Cog Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X, Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at Ryan the Great RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast, and make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's run the video. Let's roll that intro. Hey, come on, Stotty. Stop! 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 Red flag! First pitch! Bring him in! Yes! Oh, damn. Alright, let's get into the video. So, starting off, let's break down the compensation of this trade. Obviously, the New York Jets, they receive Davante Adams, and then the Las Vegas Raiders, they're going to receive a 2025 conditional third-round pick that could improve to a second-round pick if Davante Adams is first or second-team All-Pro this year, or is on the Jets' active roster for the AFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. So, some conditions that apply there to turn that into a second-round pick this upcoming draft. But let's break down this trade. What does this trade mean for the New York Jets? Well, we know what this really means. You know, in my opinion, I think Aaron Rodgers is running the show there over in New York. You know, Salah's gone. I don't think he particularly liked him. Now, is it really 100% Aaron Rodgers' fault? I don't believe so, but he definitely didn't say no in it. Now he gets Davante Adams back for, honestly, probably good value, in my opinion. And now saying it looks like he's going to play on Sunday. Now, does that mean he's going to be some kind of a decoy? I'm not necessarily sure, but I think that when you're talking about on-the-field play, this looks really, really good for the New York Jets in the near future. Now, I think the biggest problem with Garrett Wilson and Aaron Rodgers has been a timing thing. Honestly, there's times where Wilson doesn't get his head around fast enough to get the football. There's times where Aaron Rodgers, I don't believe, places the ball in the right spot on certain throws. Like on comeback routes, you got to throw it near the sideline. Over the shoulder balls, you got to throw it over the shoulder. Dig routes, you got to get the ball off right when, he's about to get out of his break or he gets his head around. So, there are just certain timing things where I don't think it's really necessarily anybody's fault. It's just they don't have the chemistry yet to get everything down. And I think it's been a little detrimental. Now, when you look at the stat sheet, it says a bit different based off of what the Jets just did the Buffalo Bills. Didn't do, but, they were able to do offensively. They did half decently well. But now with Rodgers and Davante Adams, that really shouldn't be much of a problem. Obviously, they have a great connection. They have great chemistry, and Rodgers does a great job getting the ball to Davante Adams. How Rodgers is going to get the ball to him without, 2 guys on him is going to intrigue me because of the fact that Rodgers is used to fitting the football in tight windows with Davante Adams. Is the comfort with Davante Adams going to hurt him? That is going to be something, because Davante Adams has a 5-yard slant. He's going to take it for another 15 yards, I guarantee you. Is the comfort with Davante Adams going to make Rodgers a little worse in throwing the football? That is a big question that I do have. Now, I don't think it'll be that way. It's just something that we have to bring up. And obviously, I'm nitpicking here. But I'm just wondering if the comfort now is going to affect the way they play. You're going to be forced to use one-on-one coverages for the most part. I would assume that you're going to be dropping a lot. I don't know how much you're going to be dropping your secondary because of the fact that these guys aren't. They're deep. They can be deep threats, but they're more pure route runners. That being Wilson and Adams. How many explosive plays are going to be thrown 20 yards deep are going to be something we're going to look at as well, because the Jets really haven't run too many explosive plays in their offense this season, unless somebody gets a break and is able to break a tackle and take it, an extra 20 yards or something like that. So that's going to be interesting to see if the offense is going to be changing. But I think that automatically that this improves the Jets. It gives Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, a bit more time to get that connection down while Rodgers and while Rodgers is throwing the football to Davante Adams for the most part. Now, how much he is going to be running on, or how much he's going to be getting the ball on Sunday is going to be a question, because obviously he's coming off the hamstring injury, which I don't deny is real, because obviously probably everybody's hurting, even 6 weeks in. But he probably could play on it, and it's just something that but they didn't want him playing on because he doesn't want to be with he didn't want to be with the Raiders. Speaking of the Raiders, what does this mean for them? I mean, it just basically means you're going to rebuild right now. You have the Chiefs in your division, so you're never really going to be winning the division, unless something goes terribly wrong, or unless Patrick Mahomes gets hurt for a considerable amount of time. So you're basically going through the wild card. And I think the Raiders accepted that. I think they put enough talent on their team to the point where they know that they can win a wild card game, and see where they can go from there when they traded for Davante Adams originally. So you're just rebuilding now. And honestly, I blame the Raiders for this problem, because you knew Davante Adams was unhappy last season. Even if you watched receiver, the clip is all over the place. You can't miss it. Even if you don't have Netflix, Davante Adams says, I signed off on Jimmy Garoppolo being benched, and if that didn't happen, my future in Vegas was uncertain, something along that. Don't fully quote me on that, but and then you go out in this year's draft and free agency, and you don't even get a quarterback. You let Jimmy Garoppolo go, which is evident. You sign Gardner Minshew, and then you throw him in there. You obviously couldn't get a starting quarterback in the draft because all the quarterbacks went off the board, but you at least could have went out there and tried to get a veteran quarterback to throw the football to Davante Adams and at least keep him there for a little bit longer. I mean, Gardner Minshew, he's a good quarterback, but at the end of the day, he's not really going to get the job done, and not really going to, a receiver's, not at the top of a receiver's wish list to have, throwing you the football. So, in my opinion, I think this was most of the Raiders' fault. Their compensation, I thought, was pretty bad, too, because you don't even know if Adams is going to meet the requirements. It's not a guarantee. Get to the AFC Championship game, that's not a guarantee. There's still some really good teams in the AFC that could prevent them from getting there, most notably the Chiefs and the Ravens. And then first or second team All-Pro. He hasn't done much this year with the Raiders, and depending on how he starts and finishes with the New York Jets is going to give voters something to talk about, so you don't even know if he's going to get there. I would think he's going to get there, but you never know. So none of this stuff is guaranteed. I feel like you could have got a first-round pick or just a second-round pick, based off if you would have went towards the trade deadline, because the Jets would have got a lot more desperate because of the fact that they probably wouldn't be, looking as good as they want to without Davante Adams on their team. So I think the Raiders messed up. It's good that they were able to finish this off. I mean, now you just got to rebuild. I'd say you just got to rebuild your team, get a new wide receiver core, fix up your offensive line. Your defense is pretty good. And then, get some new people around the quarterback position. Maybe play Aiden O'Connell for a few, maybe next year. And then you go get your quarterback and you try again. So it's going to be a 2 or 3 year thing with the Las Vegas Raiders for a rebuild here. And we'll see how they do it. But does this move make the Jets an immediate threat in the AFC? I think it does. Now, does it make them the biggest threat in the AFC East? Possibly. I don't know if they're going to win the division since they just lost to the Buffalo Bills, and the Bills have, a a 2-game advantage over them currently, and they look pretty good at this current moment in time. So, you really don't think that they're going to be winning the division. And then, there are some teams in the wild card that could, sneak up on you and, do pretty well for themselves. But I think the Jets, on paper, are one of the best teams in the AFC right now. On paper, they're better than the Bills. I think they're better even with Amari Cooper. I think on paper, they're better than the Chiefs. And on paper, I think they're just as good as the Baltimore Ravens. I'm talking about on paper, not talking about on the field. Obviously, the chemistry with the Baltimore Ravens offensively is incredible. The Chiefs are just, you have Patrick Mahomes, and he can make any magic work with any receivers. But on paper, this team is one of the best in the AFC and could be possibly is the top team. There is no excuse. There literally is no excuse anymore because of the fact you have Davante Adams. Even if you lose to the Chiefs, that's not an excuse. The Chiefs aren't as good as they have been, obviously. I still think they're the best. They're the best team in the NFL, based off my lists. And they've been number one through the past couple of weeks. They're actually through all 5 weeks. But when it comes to the playoff time, and you're not gonna have Rashee Rice, and you don't know how Travis Kelce's gonna look, you should be able to win that game. Now the Baltimore Ravens is a little more shaky based off their based off the way they look on paper and the way matchups work out. But once again, on paper, you should be able to at least take the Ravens to the limit and probably beat them. This is a Jets team that needs to win. It's boom or bust. And if they don't win this year, Joe Douglas is out. So does this make the Jets an immediate threat? Yes. Do they have to win the Super Bowl? Yes. Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. So we'll see. That'll do for this video, guys, before I absolutely cough up a storm. Make sure you guys subscribe with the post notifications on. Go subscribe to my brother Lindy Ray Blogs. Make sure you guys subscribe to my second channel at Brian the Cog Great. Make sure you guys go follow me on X or RTG. Make sure you guys go follow me on TikTok at RTG. Make sure you guys go listen to the latest edition of the CR7 podcast. And make sure you guys go follow me on Twitch at Ryan the Great Podcast. And as always, Ryan the Great out. Peace.